Before this video starts, let me first respond to a question that many have been, some, not many, but some have been asking and commenting about. It's not a way for me to criticize anything, it's just to explain if anybody more wants to know. There has been some wondering about the sound. For those who have seen me on streams, various streams, and then have been listening to and seeing my videos, and noticing that the sound is a bit different. And that is correct, because when I stream, I'm using a portable microphone in a headset connected to the computer, and when I'm filming here, I use my telephone. With exception from the early part, my first year, when I used my webcam, I always have been filming through a telephone since 2015 maybe. So it's pretty natural, in my opinion, that it sounds a little bit different, because I use two totally different equipment. So I hope that has been answered some questions about the sound. So now, back to the original video. Hello there, folks. As many of you followers of my channel have seen, I haven't been doing that much threads and or contests lately, as I did before. Much is because I feel like many questions I have done already. But sometimes it's good to go back and do a thread again. So I saw that there was a thread going on of top 20 of British bands, as many of you know, I'm a huge fan of the British 80s and 90s, so I thought this was right up my alley. I saw this video through John Bellamy, who saw it through James Griffith and others, so it's a widely spread thread. So definitely, why not? Top 20 of British bands, and I have ranked them from number 20 to number 1, because that's who I am. But don't take the places too seriously. This is what I feel right now. If I did this chart within 6 months' time, it would be obviously be a bit changes. Maybe another bands have come in and so on. So this is top 20 right now. Now I'm sure British bands. I think that should include then Scottish bands also. Well, I have included Scottish bands anyway. Anyway. So 80s and 90s, of course, and I think you who knows me and my channel knows which decade that is having the most records here. So let's start. Top 20 of British bands. And I can also assure you that this might seem as a little bit alternative for those who wants something that does not contain the ordinary ones, such as Beatles or Rolling Stones or stuff like that. I was thinking, of course, of Deep Purple, but they are right outside. But this does not contain any Stones or Beatles, I can't say that. Though I don't have anything against Beatles, but it's not my thing for top 20 of the best British bands ever, let's just say that. So let's start with number 20. There are some bands that you may not think is that ordinary, that might be coming as a bit of a surprise. Number 20 for me is Sniff and the Tears, a band that I discovered pretty late was it maybe 10 years ago, the Swedish radio show, and I really like their very laid back, little rockish pop style, and the singer's voice. I really like him because he sounds a bit rockish, but at the same time very, very laid back. This is my favorite one, The Game's Up, containing one of my favorite songs, Poison Pen Mail. So Sniff and the Tears, number 20. We have at number 19 are some shangers British shangers that there's a lot of British shangers that I like, but some that I wanted to have more with, but in a chart that only can have 20 places, I have to do sacrifices. So I wanted more maybe of the British dance house era from the early 90s, but at least I could have Soul to Soul, and really relaxing, smooth, and really amazing produced by Jazzy B, and fantastic songs. So I really like Soul to Soul. And what I have tried to have the order here as the band's, of course, album, how good they have been during the entire career. So Soul to Soul is a band I still can buy albums with, of course, if I find one that is way past their prime, because they're still so really great. Number 18. This is a band that was a band that nowadays is a solo act, you might call it, but I think it was a band during this period. So then it counts as a band, of course. As the Camera. This is Knife, really great album, and I like As the Camera because I like Roddy Frame's melodies. I like the really nice and charming sound of it. I like it's really charming. It's really well made, and it's really relaxing sounding. As the Camera, number 18. 17. Coming to really one of the big ones in the new wave synth pop. Number 17 for New Order. You might think that why do I have it so low? Well, there have been ups and downs. Their earliest materials, I'm not talking about the material from the Joy Division. Joy Division is, in my opinion, is a different band. But the first albums are good, but not in the same quality as the later ones. So it is number 17 when it comes to New Order, but they are really great. I like Bernard Sumner's voice. They have fantastic hit feelings when it comes to their songs. So number 17, New Order. Number 16, the most modern name here. A band that I discovered about, well, maybe it was about 10 years ago, and it was really great. I was so uninterested in new artists back then that I felt I didn't want to listen to new music, hardly anything. But I realized also that I missed those times when I discovered new stuff that I really fell in love with. So I started to step by step carefully starting to listen to new music that weren't on the top 40 charts. And one of the bands that first bands that from them when I sort of discovered was this band, Churches, with the singer Lauren Mayberry. I think Lauren Mayberry has a really charming and great voice, and they do synth pop that stands in one foot in the past and the other one in something new when it comes to sound and melodies and so on. So number 16, churches. 15, we're stepping away from synth pop, because 15 is the Pretenders. And Pretenders is a band that in the past I thought was okay, did some great stuff, but it didn't take me until around 95 until I for real discovered that this band is worth my attention a whole lot more than I have been given them in the past. So fantastic sound, guitar pop sound. Really, I like Chris Hines' mature voice and amazing melodies. 14, we have more new wave. We have China Crisis. Also a band that is amazingly laid back, relaxing, and fantastic sound. Always been since I heard them the first time, I've been a fan of them. So I thought China Crisis was natural to have in this chart as number 14. We have at 13 a band whose singer I have been doing a tribute to, and I'm talking about Talk Talk. And Talk Talk is a band that I discovered also pretty late, because Talk Talk was never a huge thing on the hit charts in Sweden. So during the 80s, I never heard of them, actually. But then in the Oasis, I discovered them, and I discovered them big. I thought that It's My Life was fantastic. I think that Such a Shame is such amazing. I think this is so really, really amazing melodies and sound. And Mark Hollis' voice, of course, also that fits so good in this kind of sound and this kind of production. So Talk Talk, number 13. 12, another synth pop band, a lot of those. We have A Flock of Seagulls, a band that actually is coming with a brand new album next year. They have a song out right now that I can't remember the name of, but it is a really, really good one. And A Flock of Seagulls is new wave synth pop that is so amazing, well made, amazing sounding, and amazing melodies. And not to mention the haircuts, the glasses. A Flock of Seagulls, a fantastic, fantastic new wave synth pop band from the 80s. But there are more of those, of course, like number 11, Ultravox. And when it comes to number 11, it is only for those years with Mitch Yor. If that would be all that Ultravox had done, they will most likely hire. But now they also have a part of the career, the early career, which was more punkier, that I haven't been listening all that much to. And there also are those lesser good albums with Billy Curry's Ultravox in the 90s. So a little dip for that, but the Midge Ure era is so good that it's enough to be number 11 in my chart. For the dark, the mysterious sound that they have, the very sad voice of Midge Ure, they are fantastic. Number 10. Now we're coming into the 90s. And as many of you know, I'm a huge fan of Britpop. And there are, I can spoil and say there are two representative for that genre. One of them is Suede. Suede and Brett Anderson, I wasn't that interested in when they came in the early 90s. It took me a while, until 1995, until I realized that they are really, really great. And when 1996, when this album coming up, it knocked me off my feet, because this is such an amazing British rock, in my opinion. Britpop is said, but in my opinion this is amazing British rock music, and fantastic melodies, amazing groove in its ways, melodies, and when they do ballads, it is so really, really awesome. So Suede, number 10. Number 9, we have Simple Minds. And Simple Minds have like 2 careers. And in this case, I like them both. I like the more new wave-ish part from New Gold Dream and backwards. But I also love, I'm grown up with this version of Simple Minds, the bigger, the more powerful, the more stadium rock, and I just love that also. If I had to choose, of course, I'm grown up with this, so I guess that this is even higher on my list than this more synth-ish era, actually, for once. But I like them both, and top 10 naturally. This one, Once Upon a Time, is definitely a fantastic album. Nostalgia, sure, but also so extremely powerful and really, really well made. Number 8, genuine synth pop. We have Erasure, a band that still exists and still does great stuff. Erasure, Andy Bell and Vince Clarke, masters of doing really, really elegant and charming synth pop classics. And Vince Clarke, of course, a master at the synthesizers. He has been such a huge part of the British music scene with other bands, of course, like Yazoo, or Jazz if you're an American. His one song period as Assembly with Fergal Sharkey, and of course he was there and start Depeche Mode. Erasure is a fantastic band that is fantastic, amazing to do, really, really charming and great pop pearls, synth pop pearls. 7, we have more Britpop. We have, of course, Oasis, a band that divides, from what I understand, the vinyl community. But I have said it before and I say it again, I love Oasis. I like the sound, I like the groove, I like their rocky style. I'm one of the extreme few that think that Be Here Now from 1997 is maybe my favorite album. Many have said that was the downfall of Britpop, that they didn't sound like they used to, but it is an amazing rock album. And that's good enough for me. It's a great album. And so is this. What's the Story, Morning Glory? The one with these classic singles. So Oasis, I have, from what I understand, I think I have complete for now. I mean, who knows now when they're reunited, if they release another album. I hope they will. So Oasis, number 7. Number 6, We're going from a band that reunited this year to a band that have been closing their doors this year. At least from when it comes to touring and so on. Whether there will be new music out released remains to be seen, but I don't know if the previous album, Bauhaus Staircase, will be OMD's final album. But OMD have a natural place, and here is number 6. This is History of Modern, the return album for when they became a duo again. This is a band that I love them from the first time I heard them. I think I heard them the first time was Secret back in 1985, and I still think it's a fantastic song. All the way through the years to from when Andy McCluskey made it as a solo act. Sugar Tax I still think is maybe the best album by OMD, and I still think that the songs I've heard from Bauhaus Staircase is fantastic. So OMD, fantastic band, all the way from their first album to this date. Now we're going close to the top. Number 5, a band that we have gone from a band that have reunited to a band that have been releasing from what might be the last album to a band that actually is still going strong and releasing an album any week now. I'm talking about Tears for Fears. And Tears for Fears is a band that also made interesting development from the early more synthy style to this album, Seeds of Love, that is big, powerful, and really fantastic, stands with its own 2 feet in another land that fans were used to, but they loved it. And until today, when they are really amazing, big and powerful music. The Girl That I Call Home, the first single from their upcoming live album, is a really fantastic song. And this might be my favorite album after all, because Sowing the Seeds of Love might be the best song ever made. So Tears for Fears is my number 5. Number 4, going back to the 90s, and another genre that I wanted to have more with, but there are so many that I wanted to have. I'm a huge fan of this big beat sound that came in the late 90s, and if Fatboy Slim has been a band, he would have been here, of course. But now he's a solo artist. So Big Beat here is represented by Chemical Brothers, that I really think is fantastic. This contains also one of the best songs ever, one of the grooviest, one of the most experimental, and one of the most amazing, well-made songs ever. Hey Boy, Hey Girl. And they released some songs, an album last year from the songs I've heard. It sounds really great. And it's big, it's amazing, well made, and it is experimental. It's like, many times it is like listening to people having fun in a playhouse. So for me, Chemical Brothers is among the best dance groups ever in British history. Number 3, I think the top 3 was pretty obvious in my opinion. Number 3, we're coming to a more of a jazz, funk, poppy style. 80s, of course. We come to Level 42. And one of my absolute favorite albums ever. I think that I can say that the albums I'm going to show in top 3, all of them is a part of the best albums I ever heard. So I won't spoil too much. But Level 42, I like Mark King's bass. That is so important for Level 42. But I love his voice, his very mature voice. I like their groove, I like their melodies, and with Mike Lindup's very high voice in the back, I think Level 42 is very underrated today. They are not talking all that much about Level 42's greatness as it should. So Level 42, my number 3. Now, only 2 places left. And at number 2, we have one of my absolute favorite bands ever. And I think you both who have follow my channels knows which bands that are number 1 and 2. Come on, can't be that hard. Number 2, of course, is Pet Shop Boys, band that released a new album this year. But my all-time favorite album, of course, is Very, because it is so filled with such an amazing, well-made pop disco pearls that didn't sound that much 90s at all. You know, it came out when this kind of music should have been pretty much out, but people loved it anyway because it was so amazing, well made, and the voice of Neil Tennant is iconic, as is Chris Lowe, and the melodies they make is fantastic. The sound and their tradition of doing traditional British pop in a new way and really make it big, make it with a whole lot of great sounding pop, almost synth pop style. So for me, Pet Shop Boys is one of the best bands ever. Of course, they have some faults, like many others. Nightlife is an album that I think is one of the weaker. I guess that is what stopped me from making them number 1, because my number 1, in my opinion, hasn't done an album that is really bad ever. But Pet Shop Boys at number 2, and number 1 shouldn't be that hard. You should know by now what's coming up. That number 1, of course, is Depeche Mode. A band that's been with me since I started listening to pop music, since I heard Shake the Deceased the first time back in spring 1985, and since then I've been in love with this band. This band is such an amazing band, and I hope that Dave Gahan and Martin Gore will continue to make songs, even though they have there only are those 2 left now, and they don't always get along, and there are no Andy Fletcher now to talk them right. But Depeche Mode through the years has developed, but still keeping one foot in the dark, the synthesizer style, even though they also have been doing some rock style, they have been doing some different style, but still keeping one foot in what is typical Depeche Mode melody and Depeche Mode style. You can easily hear when it is Depeche Mode still, even though they're not Speak and Spell and Vince Clarke sounding anymore. You still know it's Depeche Mode, and they are amazing. They have such a strong fan base, and they're amazing no matter what they do, in my opinion. So number 1 best British band ever, in my opinion, Depeche Mode. And some of you might say that they're missing some, no Juma Lee, no Duran Duran, and so on. Whereas I could have picked The Alarm. I could have picked many other amazing bands from the British Islands. Verve I could have picked, Pulp, but only 20 places. I need to do Sacrifice, so they are on a divided place number 21, all of those. So I hope that you have enjoyed my little walk through my top 20 of British bands. So I hope every one of you have a really nice time, no matter where you are, no matter what you do. Take care, and so long.